Please rise for silent invocation, and no joke, not only do we have a lot to pray for, we should also keep in mind our blessings as well as we do this.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councilmember Foley, Councilmember Tremont, Councilmember Bastian.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
Here.
Mayor Burnett.
Here. We have a quorum. Item 4, resolution number 22-42. Resolution 2242 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Port Orange, Volusia County, Florida, declaring a state of local emergency, authorizing the city manager or his designee to exercise emergency management powers, ratifying all actions taken in preparation for Tropical Storm Nicole, and providing for an effective date.
Move to approve resolution number 22-42.
I'll second.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that you guys would, because
You can't.
but we do have a quorum. Wayne, silly question, why are we doing this again?
We have another storm approaching, and this allows us the authority to act on emergency situations with rapid speed during the course of the emergency. Obviously, we do that with great diligence and care for the respect of our community. I also wanted to go over some of the things we've done already in preparation for this storm so the public's aware. As with the other storms, we have sandbags that are available for pickup now. They're over here at the City Center complex on the eastern side where the gym facility is. It's going to become the rec center. Those are available till 5:30 tonight. They will also be available tomorrow until noon. So from 8 to noon, you can get sandbags. We have had our crews out, the street sweepers are out, and our crews are out checking all the drainage areas. They're cleaning the streets and cleaning the drainage, all the storm drains throughout the city that they can get to. We've been staging equipment so they're the right position for cleanup post-storm and help as quickly as we can get to it. The ponds that we have the ability to lower the levels in, we have been doing that. Over the course of the time since Ian, we've gotten a couple of persistent rumors that the city did not open floodgates or statements to that matter. Those are not correct. Every stormwater system in the city was operated appropriately as designed by our staff throughout the storm for Ian, and will also be done as the same for Nicole going forward. Our public safety staff are prepared and ready to go. Our EOC will be opening tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, running throughout the storm until it's no longer necessary. We intend to close the city for regular business at noon tomorrow and Thursday. The schools are already closed today for Election Day, but they'll also be closed tomorrow and Thursday, and not opening for the holiday Friday. So we're kind of matching that. Most of the cities in the area are doing that. So while we're closed for regular business, the staff that works to prepare the city and help us recover will be here doing their jobs. We just won't be open for regular business.
We talked about this a little bit on the podcast this morning, that this doesn't have the reign of Ian, but we also know that every storm has its own personality. No two are quite alike. It's affected mostly by intensity and duration, and both of those the forecasts have changed numerous times just throughout today. I just want to first of all appreciate the fact that everybody from public safety to public works, parks and recs, chipping, it doesn't matter. Every department in the city is doing something, and we're busy, and we will be there. Wayne, you want to mention the call center? What time is the call center open?
It's running now. We've had it open since yesterday. That number is available, the 506-5999. Right now it's running regular 8 to 5 hours, but as we open the EOC, it will be available from tomorrow all the way through the storm.
So people can
in addition to calling in, you can also check our website. We have links there if you're a website person. If you're social media, we put stuff on Facebook as well and other sites. So there's a lot of different ways to find that information out, whatever your preference is, whether it's a website, a social media, or a phone call.
One of the reasons why I'm asking Wayne this, for those that are watching and listening, is that one of the things that people said is that after Ian, they didn't hear from us. Well, we haven't got a lot of the local news outlets working the way we have in the past, whether it be radio or newspaper. We're sending out those same releases to everybody. We certainly are going to be active on social media and our website. We were communicating those things. Those are the tools we do have at our disposal. So if you're looking for information, that's probably your first go-to. Port Orange City Hall on Facebook page, and then of course port-orange.org. When you call up the city website, click on Storm Updates. It's at the very top of the page. It's constantly being updated. And if you have issues, call the call center, 506-5999, area code 386, and we're here to help. Anything else? I think that is the gist of it. Alert Port Orange. You can also sign up for Alert Port Orange and get text messages, phone calls, or emails, or all three if you want, on critical issues. You can hit the link. The link is rather long, so I'm not going to read it off here. Nobody get it right anyway. But you can get it off our both social media and the city website. Council, all of you that are here today, any questions or anything that you want to add? Drew?
No, not really. I mean, this is just round two. Here we go again, and so we got to hunker down and continue to do our thing, do what we do, and pray for the best.
Amen to that. Scott?
After the last storm and leading up to this, I've had several residents inquiring about retention ponds that are in their neighborhoods or live or behind their homes. And I think there's a misconception that the city has the ability to drain down all retention ponds in the city. And I just want to clarify that is not the case. And I appreciate Lynn and Wayne getting me some good data not too long ago. For those that are interested in that, there are basically 550 retention ponds in the city of Port Orange. 416 of those are privately owned. They are not owned by the city, they are not in control of the city, and the city does not maintain them. So overwhelmingly, all of the retention ponds that people see in their neighborhoods and behind their homes belong to private property owners, HOAs, private businesses, and the like. Of the 135 or so ponds that the city does own and maintain, 9 of those have the capability of being lowered mechanically by pumps or by gate systems. So to kind of reiterate that, 550 ponds, 9 of those we can control and pump those down. That has been done. That was done before the last storm. It's being done now, and they can be pumped down only so far. So that has been done. So I just want to put that out there because there's a lot of residents feel like I can look out my window and I see a pond and it hasn't been drained and it probably does not have the ability to be drained, and in all likelihood it is probably a private retention pond. So I think that's important to know. The other thing is in talking with Wayne, and I just want to reiterate that our city employees will be doing everything they can to combat debris clogging up the surfaces of storm drains. I know a lot of residents out in my neighborhood and all over the city, they take the proactive measure when they see it. They go out there with a rake and they clear it. If they can safely do that, I encourage that. I think that's a great thing to help out in that and such. But I just want people to know that our city folks, as long as they can safely, will be out there. They will be continuing to do that. So I appreciate that conversation with the city manager earlier.
It is interesting the number of times I've seen people blow yard clippings out into the road. Where do you think those go?
Right.
They go into storm drains. That's why it's a practice that we don't like. And frankly, if you're smart and you have the right mower blade, you should be blowing those clippings back into your yard because it feeds your yard, it keeps it greener. But along the lines of just yard maintenance, you want your storm drains that are supposed to be maintained by your private HOA or even the city to work as efficiently as possible. You don't want to be blowing those things out in the street or into the gutter, and this is the time we need them. No doubt about it.
And lastly, I just want to note, and I know a lot of residents probably get tired of hearing us say this, and I understand, but it's not always just about the amount of rain. There are a lot of factors involved with water and what we can and can't do and how we can displace it out of our community. Once again, we have a storm that is approaching us with a lot of things that are not working in our favor. The tides right now are historically higher than normal. We are in that tidal period of time where we're going to be seeing these king tides. In addition to that, because of the direction of this particular storm, we're going to be looking at some storm surges on top of waves on the Atlantic Ocean that are going to be cresting at over 14 feet for 2 days. When those high tide periods come, that's another thing I've learned, is a lot of our residents who maybe aren't from Florida, haven't lived in a coastal community, they don't understand tides, and the tide changes every 6 hours. We roughly in Port Orange, we are at about 2.5, 3 hours behind the high tide or the tidal change of whatever Ponce Inlet is. So if you're looking up, the tide is high tide at Ponce Inlet at 12 o'clock. That means high tide basically in Port Orange is 3. And then it gets longer and longer as you go north in the county. But we are significantly impacted by tide. When the tide is falling out, that works in our favor. When the tide is coming in and the tide levels are already above higher than normal stages, that is not in our favor. And so there are things that we can help and do in the process, and there are certainly things that are not within our control, and those are big factors. So just for whatever, for the knowledge of those who want to know about that kind of stuff, there it is.
I certainly am concerned for our neighbors to the east on the ocean. The erosion problem that after Ian has already created problems we have never, ever seen before. And this is almost like insult to injury. And I want people to know on the beach side to take the evacuation seriously. Whether you live in Port Orange on the beach side or anywhere else over there, take them seriously. Plan for it. They want the evacuations completed by 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned to media, stay tuned to Volusia County's website, also has some information, as well as ours. We'll keep sharing as best we can. I'll be sharing it on as best I can on the Port Orange Mayor Twitter, but information is power. We'll have some wind. Just a reminder too, after the storm, if you lose power, hang in there. FP&L is rushing the stage as well. Hopefully we won't see as large a down, the length of time that everybody was down after Ian, but there again, every storm is different. This one may have more wind. It could impact us differently. So be prepared and be safe out there.
And there's certainly less trees to knock down those power lines, so hopefully the power outages won't be as plentiful as they were before, but you can't predict that. It's just crazy.
And a bit of bad news, we have 15 FEMA certified double trucks out there working after winds gusts go above 25, which they have. Those trucks can't work. We were going to operate them tomorrow if we could, but you can't send people out in unsafe conditions. If you have not secured, if there's anything that you can do to secure your debris, please do so. We've picked up a ton of debris in the last couple of weeks. As we got through the construction of debris, we really picked up the pace on vegetative. Just a reminder, it took 3 months to clean up after Matthew, and we are a month in, about a month and a half in after this one, and I'm very impressed with the way we hit the gas after this. We didn't have the construction debris that we had during Matthew, and that takes up a significant amount of weight and time in those trucks. As soon as we can redeploy after the storm, we will, but we're going to do it safely. One last reminder, tomorrow morning I'll do another podcast to update everybody on the Port Orange City Hall Facebook page, but one of the things that Chief Wolfing mentioned this morning on the podcast, after the storm is over, a lot of people want to get out and see. Do me a favor, do that in your own neighborhoods. Please stay off the roads. Give us a chance to assess some things. There are hidden dangers out there. Absolutely hidden dangers. And we had some issues after Ian with a lot of people, curiosity seekers. There's plenty to see after a hurricane in your own neighborhood. So please stay where you are. Instead of going out and seeking what's going on, stay in your neighborhood, see what your neighbors need. Check on them. Those are the things we should be doing first anyway. The next day will come. Let's take care of each other. Let's take care of ourselves and be safe. Let's give our first responders a chance to get out there and get the people who need it. Give Public Works a chance to get out there and clear the roads properly and safely, and make sure that when it is time to get out there, that you can see what's going on, but do it in the best and safest way possible. Gentlemen, is there anything else I'm going to add? Would anyone here for the public care to speak to the item? There being none, final comments? On resolution number 22-42, call the roll.
Councilmember Bastian.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stiltner.
Yes.
Mayor Burnett.
Yes, 3-0. Let me just close out by saying, what a way, we didn't want to break this record. I heard last night that the United States hasn't seen a coastal strike from a hurricane in the month of November since 1985. And it had to be us. Not a record that we wanted to break, but here it is. So no matter what the situation is, if you need us, call us. We'll be there for you. Good luck, everybody. Port Orange, we'll be there before, during, and after as best we can. Stay safe, everyone. Good afternoon.